So we just started, and Tommy has the hottest of hot takes that this
Not
is
sponsored.
a crappy drink.
Yeah, not sponsored, but if they'd like to sponsor, feel free.
Go ahead and justify your stance on this, Tommy.
I don't like the alcoholic seltzer movement. It's all like, I don't know if High Noon is this, but some of them had like grain alcohol and it all tastes like crap. I just don't like the taste of them. They're like, I don't know. It all feels just like fake garbage. I'd rather have like a gin and soda if I'm going to drink anything.
Well, they're a staple of the Northeastern summer. I can tell you that.
That's true.
I'm in the Midwest, Jim. Okay.
I think.
Yeah, your summer's over.
Oh, so we have the same as you guys.
No, you guys, no. There's no way the Midwest summer is the same as New Jersey.
Yeah, it's about the same.
No,
I mean, we have
I don't
less
think so.
humidity, but it's like, I mean, it gets cold around November, and that's when it's
No. First of all,
It'll
you're gonna
be-
stop wearing shorts in like probably 20 days.
We'll stop wearing shorts now. We'll go
It'll
through
be fall
September.
here at like mid to late September. You'll really start noticing it's fall. Whereas in Chicago, I feel like it stays hot until October.
Yeah. September.
No.
Jim, you remember before you moved? I can't remember if you like.
I do, Tommy. I do. I do
Okay.
remember.
All right, fair enough. But you were about to move, and I was house sitting, and your flight got canceled. It was in the house that doesn't have air conditioning, and it was the hottest. It was like mid to late September, and it was like 95 degrees out, no AC or fans in Jim's house, and I was dying that night.
Yeah.
And Jim's flight got canceled. That sucked.
And then my flight got canceled. I had to come back, and it was sometimes it's just like hot as shit in Chicago for no reason.
Yeah. It's right before it
It's like
rains.
one
It gets
day.
like super hot. And then all of a sudden it goes
Yeah.
back to being like 75 and perfect.
All right, so let's do the introduction. I am Dr. Jim Cellini. I'm a board certified practicing neurologist. This is the Cellini Rounds podcast. I am your host, and I'm joined by my two younger brothers, Dr. Michael Cellini, interventional radiologist and YouTuber, the other Dr. Mike. And then we have Dr. Tommy
lesser?
Cellini, the lesser Dr. Mike. And then we have Tommy Cellini, who I'm not even going to introduce formalities to because he has such a little presence on social media. There's no point.
Okay.
But
fair
he is a
enough.
radiologist in real life.
But he's also a radiologist.
I am also a radiologist.
Tommy, my first question to you is, how does it feel to contribute nothing to this channel but still get the benefits?
I'm not exactly sure what benefits we're talking about, but
Well, we just hit 1,000 subscribers, so we might be getting a little bit of
Cue the
benefits.
we might get, you know, I like to think of my presence as a benefit to this podcast. And just,
I mean,
perpetuate.
so our channel is in the process of being reviewed for monetization, and it's going to be a decade before Tommy sees a dime.
Yeah,
Easily.
probably.
With as much work as Michael and I put into this relative to Tommy,
Yeah.
I mean, he should get zero.
I mean,
Yeah, he
you
should
know,
actually get zero.
the plan is,
It should actually be the Tommy or the Jim and Michael podcast.
yeah, well, there you go.
But you really should just
Tommy
delete his
sucks.
square real quick.
yeah, just put an X over my square the whole time. I provide no
There's something
benefit.
that happened with Tommy that he fell into this thing where like people like having him around. Like he's like that piece of furniture that you take with you to all the places you move to.
People like
He's
having me
an
around.
antique.
Yeah,
Piece
I'm
of shit.
I'm an old chair that has been going around. I like to think my entire career is based off of that, actually. I'm not entirely sure I know how to do radiology whatsoever, but I'm convinced that people just like me when I interview and they're like, hey, he'd be a good guy to have around in the office and the reading room. That's
Tommy
basically the basis
Tommy
of everything.
Tommy brings just enough to the table without bringing anything to the table.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
Just enough. As I wanted to make if I ever write a biography or an autobiography, I think I would name it Slightly Above Average would be the title of my book.
You're like the salt shaker.
Yeah.
You're like, you're there
Salt shaker.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
that?
on the table.
What-
On the
how is
table.
that a salt
I'm on
shaker?
the
on the
table.
table.
You need me, but I don't do that much. It's not like
Yeah.
a seasoning salt.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're more like the pizza holder.
just sits there.
No, I'm the
You're like you don't use it every time, and it just kind of sits in the middle, and you only
But,
use it for pizza.
what's
I
the
don't know.
little table thing you put so the pizza box doesn't press on the thing?
Yeah, it's
Like
the little,
that.
I forgot it. It's the little
I just
pizza
I
table.
lightly support certain things, but not other
Yeah,
things.
God, without actually contributing any effort
Yeah.
or
No,
time.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
been
that's
busy.
Tommy. Yeah, that's Tommy for you.
Some of us are busy. We don't have days off like Jim.
Jim really
I
has
have
a lot
many
of
days
days
off.
off. The
Yeah,
more I notice that the more I notice that Jim actually doesn't work that much.
Yeah.
No.
He's
Yeah.
always at home.
Oh, always.
Yeah.
He'll be like in the middle of the day. He'll be like, "Oh, I got off early." It's like, "Oh, must be
I
nice."
know. I'm like,
I've never done that. Must be nice.
I
to be
could
able to-
leave at noon every day if I wanted to.
Unreal.
imagine having no
I
responsibility.
just choose to work hard and see after patients.
Jeez.
There's no like I work somewhere where there's like it's like neuro is kind of optional.
Yeah.
And like if I wasn't there, nothing would change about the hospital. So I'm just like, all right, I'll just like see the patients that I think need to see me. And
So
that's
they're
that.
like basically all the neuro consults, or they're just like, we could do without a neuro consult and just
I mean, if I wasn't there, things would just plug along unchanged. So
Good.
yeah.
they create value in your career.
I've come to that realization the last few months, and I'm just like,
I think
know
you
what?
just
I'm
said
gonna
I'm the most replaceable thing ever.
I think I'm very replaceable, is what I'm trying to say.
Basically, tomorrow they can just be like, you know what? We don't need you.
yeah,
You add
this-
no value.
yeah. When this podcast
basically
comes
Tommy.
out Sunday, you're basically me. There's no difference.
Yeah.
You're the me of the podcast at work.
Yeah.
I've had no, I had no.
So Jim,
value.
how does that compare to you working somewhere where you are relied upon? Like, is that an option?
I don't think I've
or-
ever worked anywhere where I'm actually like truly needed and it's like mandatory that I'm there, to be honest with you. Like I've
Wow.
never worked anywhere where I'm like, if I left, like everything would go to shit. I guess the closest would be when I was a resident and my mentor was like skiing for an entire weekend and I was like handling all the inpatients and seeing emergencies and working them up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That would be probably the closest.
But that's technically like a private practice.
Well, the thing is with neuro, yes, but the thing is with neurology and veterinary neurology, like it's one of those things where like the public doesn't know enough about it anyway.
yeah.
So any practice could just be like, yeah, no, we don't have neurology today, and they're like, oh, you have to go somewhere else.
I guess that's true.
Like that's it.
Yeah.
So
Because I mean, the vast majority of vets out there, they don't have like there's not neuro that's readily available for them, right?
no, like I think I've said this before, but there's about 300 neurologists in like the entire country. I think.
Okay. And
So
the majority of them are in like major cities.
right, and there's like
Yeah.
no neurologists for like 1,000 square mile stretches across the country. Like that averages out to like 6 a state, but I can tell you right now, there's like 60 in California or something.
Yeah,
like that.
right. It's the
Wow.
vast majority. Of
Maybe
California. I mean,
more.
there's at like what your old place in Chicago. There's what, like 4 of you, 5 of you.
There's
something
3
like
of us. There was 4 of us at one point, then there's 3 of us because
that? Yeah.
someone quit because the caseload was not high enough for 4 of us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She told me one time before she quit, she said, I've had months where like I'm not making production and I'm struggling to pay rent. I was like, you
Okay, you
Yeah,
gotta
you
find
might-
a new place.
I was like, you
Probably
might need
go
to
somewhere
find
else.
a different place.
I imagine you just go out in this. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just trying to get an idea of how like veterinary medicine works for specialties. But could you effectively just go out into the suburbs of some place like, say, Chicago in that scenario? Go out to the suburbs.
I mean, there's places
maybe-
already out in all those suburbs.
Okay, is that just
Sure.
a Chicago thing, or it's like you could go to
No,
northern
there's-
Indiana and find a ton?
No, not around there. There's not.
Okay,
There's
So you
like
could create-
select, not like what you're talking about with like when you're looking for jobs in
Yeah.
like random like rural areas.
right.
You don't really see that much with specialists in vet med.
Okay,
Maybe you'll see like an internist or like a traveling surgeon who just does knee surgeries only at somebody else's hospital and they
Okay.
travel and do locum. But the thing about like vet neurology is that you've got to come with an MRI, which
yeah.
means somebody's got to pony up that like MRI lease and all that equipment and the personnel to run it.
Oof.
Can't you just?
Which means
Let me
you got to
ask
do
you this.
like 15 MRIs a month just to break even.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Or maybe
couldn't you
10.
just open your own practice and then contract one of
Yes.
those like MRI trucks and schedule all
Yeah.
of your MRIs on that day, and then just have the
Yeah.
practice the rest of the time?
I probably could, yeah.
So you don't have to. You just
Um,
pay them a little
If I
kickback.
if I open my own practice, it's funny you mentioned this because I'm talking to for my YouTube channel. I'm interviewing a consultation. I don't know what his title is, but his company does consultations, and he brokers vet clinics that are selling to corporate. Like he brokers that. He's literally like a real estate agent, but for
He's a
these like vet
consultant.
businesses. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a consultant. But he got me. He was telling me like I did like a pre-interview on the phone with him yesterday, and he was telling me like the numbers and like how you could literally get a zero money down business loan that covers everything, and you can just start a vet practice so easily.
Really?
Yeah, because like you don't, because I was the whole time I was like, well, I don't really want to put some gigantic amount of money down to start a business, but apparently what you can do is get a no money down business loan quite easily from these like vets, like these specialists like vet loans. And all they do is just give you money because they don't need a down payment because it's just based on the business. They're not
Yeah.
basing it off of you. And he was like, this is a misconception amongst vets. Like they have too much student loans to start their own practice and do best by them that way. But he's like, it doesn't matter what your student loans are. He's like, you could have $1 million in student loans and they don't care. They'll give you a loan because it's based on what your business does, not you.
Interesting. So it's much easier to start than I imagine. I mean,
Very easy.
So yeah, because I always think about that,
Very
like,
easy.
because radiology, what Michael does and what I do, it's like you could potentially it'd probably be easier for Michael doing like interventional stuff, like an interventional
Mhm.
radiologist to start their own practice, because I would need equipment. I need like mammo machines, ultrasound techs. I need like biopsy suite.
You have a lot of baggage in your
an
Yeah.
MRI.
plus you
So
need
it
a
was like-
multidisciplinary team.
Yeah,
You need a breast surgeon, you need a breast oncologist, you need like
For me, it would
Whole
be
bunch of
finding
stuff.
technicians.
yeah. I mean, I would need
I don't know where I would find technicians from. I really don't.
because Michael could easily, like, if you effectively, not saying he's doing this, but it's like if he created his own practice, you could just contract with, like, there are outpatient vascular imaging suites and stuff like that, and you would just be like, can I just
you
use
could
this?
do that. Or there's actually the two big radiology players that make radiology equipment are Siemens and GE. Essentially, there's
Mhm.
probably like Philips also does it. But they will actually, if you start your own practice, like if I wanted to set up like a radiology X-ray suite to do interventional procedures on my own, they would actually fund, like, because it's like, $1 million, $2 million to like buy the equipment. They would actually completely give you all the equipment and the whole suite and every setup and all this stuff for free. And then you give them like, I don't know, 10% of your revenue, like forever, essentially.
Right. As Kevin O'Leary would say, in perpetuity.
Yes.
Yeah. Damn,
perpetuity.
I just said that, but I was muted. Damn it.
Oh.
Yes.
You're too busy scratching your beard.
Yeah. But okay, that's interesting.
The other thing he was telling me is just part of my research for some of my YouTube lately has been getting into like I did a video called the corporatization of vet med, and I was looking into how much these like gigantic, like Mars, the candy company, owns all these vet clinics now. They're like the biggest vet hospital company is Mars.
Yeah.
It's
Seriously?
literally Mars. Yeah.
Mars
Because they own
bars?
VCA, Banfield, and Blue Pearl.
Oh my god.
Right. So they
How-
own, that's like 2,500 hospitals in the country. And they're starting to they've done the same thing in the UK and in Asia now.
Wow.
I mean, how it's interesting how it's like people just find places, they have a ton of money, it doesn't matter what their business is.
Yeah.
And they're like, how can I just add this to other things? And they're like, well,
No,
vet clinics.
So here's the insane part is that these corporations are paying insane multiples to buy vet practices for two reasons. One, the vet practices are recession proof, like they weren't touched by the housing market and they
Yeah.
weren't touched by the pandemic. So if these little businesses don't get bothered by a pandemic or a major recession that crashes the entire world both times, like what else
Yeah.
is going to hurt the business?
Wait, so the
you know?
vet world wasn't really hurt by the pandemic?
No, because
No.
people were still paying for their dogs and cats.
Oh
and
my
gotta buy
God,
pet
dude.
food. I mean, they're
There's
not going to
studies that
not
show
buy.
I guess
the
the, like,
studies
pet
that show
food.
that demand for vet care has gone up like significantly since 2020, since March of 2020, like enormously.
I can't. I'm having a hard
So
time.
what's happening is that these corporations are now, between the businesses going up and just like what they're able to produce and their revenues and the interest rates being so low, that companies like Mars are paying like 15 to 18 times like gross profits for a buyout.
Jesus.
Wow.
So in these like 24/7 ER specialty centers where there's like 50 doctors, like everywhere
Yeah.
I've ever worked, those places profit like multiple millions of dollars a year.
Yeah, I can imagine
And
the
the owners
ER
are getting
places.
$100 million payouts to buy
Whew.
these practices.
I mean, I'd sell so fast
Oh, instantly, bro.
and invest in 8 million other things and not work.
I would just become a VC.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do. Literally
Yeah.
just a VC. That's my dream, is just to like get a buyout of something and just be a venture capitalist.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a dream.
But he also said there's a bunch of vets who have like single vet practices and are expecting like some giant payout. But the big players like Mars not really interested in like one doctor practices anymore. But they'll kind of string them along and be like, well, we're willing to talk, but they'll never like actually put an offer in.
That sucks.
What's weird is you go on their website and by state, they have a map that will tell you what there's like vet practices for sale currently. And like the three of us could go buy a vet practice for $500,000 in states that are in New England.
Really?
Yeah, you can. I don't know if they would sell to people like us, but we could literally just go buy a vet practice. There's one on sale for $450,000. It's a single vet practice.
I mean, is that lucrative or is that just like a waste of money? You don't know. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, how much of it is like, I'd have to see the bottom line.
There's a bunch of equipment and a vet clinic in there. Like,
yeah, patient population.
Yeah,
data.
Anyway,
drive.
I was
going to ask
bottom line.
I was going to ask you,
no
Jim.
data. Trust me, there's no data in a vet practice.
Yeah,
nobody's keeping data.
Paper charts, baby.
This isn't Moneyball.
Just some shoebox in the back full of cash.
Yeah, we're not Billy Bean. We are the old guy scouts who are telling Billy Bean to shut up.
Yeah.
He looks like a 5-tool baseball player.
Yeah. Jim, I was going to ask you before he chokes on his
that was the first time Tommy's made me laugh.
Hey-o, first time in 30 years.
Jim, how's the like vet care in like Europe and Asia and stuff? I mean, is it as popular as it is here? Like, I mean,
it's as so vet care is good in any developed first world country, pretty much.
Yeah.
And as you go down in like, I don't know, developedness of a country and like their GDP and whatnot,
yeah,
vet care becomes more and more of an atrocity.
Right, of course. I mean, is there vet care? I don't think there is. Yeah, because I mean, if
people are starving in the streets, like they're not like, what are they going to do for their dog? And they also like dogs tend to get more infectious diseases
in other countries.
Yeah, like you'll see like plague, leishmania, all this just stuff you only read about in textbooks.
Same with humans. I mean, like you get a lot of
true.
That's I mean, like there'll be a lot of people that are immigrating or like refugees from third world countries. You see a ton of TB in the population.
Actinomyces meningitis or something like that. It's like, what? Like I'll never see that in my entire life.
Yeah, I had an actinomyces pulmonary infection actually when I was an intern. There was a patient. What?
Oh, I thought you said you did. I was like, what?
Oh, no. I had a patient, and I remember the like the CT. It looked like a pulmonary mass, like a hilar mass.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "This looks like cancer. It looks like cancer. It looks like cancer." And actually, one of the pulm crit doctors I worked with, who I loved, she was great. She also smoked like a pack a day, which was hilarious because she'd be like, go through the.
She's a doctor and she works in pulmonary critical care.
Yeah,
she smokes.
Well, she was like Romanian, so she was she was just like
she didn't since she was like 15.
Dude,
12.
she's the hardest person I've ever met in my life, but I loved her. She's a blast to work with. And she would be like going between hospitals, working and stuff, be like smoking cigs. It was so funny. But she walked up, she was like, I think this might be actinomyces. Everyone was like, huh? They did like a bronch on them. It came back and like acid fast. I think actinomyces is acid fast, right?
I can't remember.
Yeah. We just stain on him and they're like, oh, it is. And it just looks like a mass in his chest, basically. It's just like a giant actinomyces infection.
I did a biopsy yesterday. And
Nocardia. I always lump that in with actinomyces.
Yeah, me too. We always have the pathologist there when we biopsy, to see if we got a good sample. And they were like, "Oh, it's this kind of cancer, or whatever." And they're like, "Do you want to look?" I'm like, "I mean, I guess." I look on the microscope. I'm like, "No, I don't."
Yeah, right.
They start laughing.
I had to do like pathology elective recently. And it's funny because pathology and radiology are so similar. It's just like it's opposite sides of the same coin, basically, in medicine.
Yeah.
It's like every other place just wants you to know exactly what they want you to know about their thing, but you have to know everything about everyone's stuff. And it's like, it's literally so identical. We have the same complaints, same problems. And the pathology fellow, like the breast pathology fellow, she was super nice, but she was like, oh, you want to take a guess at what this is? And she like put the slide up and I'd look at, first of all, I couldn't even focus the microscope. I was like, I was like, where is it? I had to use one eye the whole time because I couldn't do the two eyes. It was just like cut off. And she was like, oh, what's your guess? And I was like, I literally don't even know where to start.
Yeah, be like, I don't know. Histiocyte?
Yeah. she was like, or she would show me the slide before it was on the microscope. She goes, see, you can see all the purple in there. I was like, I don't know what that means.
Like,
I was
what's
like,
that mean? Yeah, was that
was like,
stain?
Yeah. She was like, oh, it's FEA. I was like, how in the world was I supposed to know what that looked like?
I remember in undergrad, I took a microbiology class. Well, my major was microbiology in undergrad, and I forget what class it was, cell biology. Part of the lab practical was like you had to like get on a microscope and like, I don't know, identify something on the microscope. I forget. But I literally just broke the slide with the microscope.
You just pushed the like the high power one and just
pushed
smashed
through.
it.
I took the high power and I just smashed through it. I was like, I don't think I'm and then I heard it crack.
Oh my
And
God.
then the professor just had this like, he's just like, yeah, I think we're done.
Yeah.
What am I
I don't see a future in this.
I was like, can I get a second chance?
Do you know, tell me, do you know what the difference between, so you said pathology and radiology are so similar, but do you know what the main difference is between radiology and pathology?
Is speed?
No, nobody questions the pathologist on their diagnosis.
That is true. Yeah.
No
one even
not one person
will
question a pathologist. No one has any
radiology is
idea.
One of those things that other specialists like to like kind of dabble in because they're always working based off of the images. And so they start to get a little pattern going in their head.
Yeah.
And then they start to think, I think I just got this. And I guarantee you, every surgeon has had it in their mind at some point. Like, why don't I just like do all these images? Like, how hard can this be?
Every surgeon without fail I've ever worked with thinks that they can read whatever it is better than we can. Without fail. It's like almost universal.
Have you seen any or worked with any that you were like, yeah, they're kind of close?
No.
I mean, a lot of them know what they're looking at.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like hepatology, like surgical oncologist for like liver, like they know the liver and like surrounding area really well in imaging. But it's like if you have
oncologists are actually really good at imaging too. If you've seen a CT, 500 times, and then you see like a giant mass in it, you're like, oh, that's abnormal. Like anybody can point out the abnormal. Like most doctors can be like, oh, that's abnormal. you know. But
it's way easier to find stuff when someone else has already pointed it out. It's
a different, exactly. That's the thing. That if they were to open a CT de novo and figure out the diagnosis, I don't think many of them could do it. If it's not like an obvious appendicitis or something.
Yeah.
And they didn't see the patient first. That's the key.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, God, don't even start.
If they didn't see the patient but that's why we're here, right? So I don't know. I think a lot of people, and I love the surgeons that like who come down and like go over images with me, and like they don't try to be like, yeah, I know what's going on here. I know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you gotta stay in your lane. I mean, it's easy. That's what people. How many times you call a doctor on the phone and tell them a finding, and then their next question is, "What do you think I should do?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm the radiologist, but you also, as a radiologist, you actually have to like know some clinical management. That's the crazy part about it is, I don't know if you saw my post, I'm not trying to like toot my own horn with this, like all radiologists, like all knowing powers,
the greatest doctors ever.
Yeah. I don't think
your YouTube channel for that.
Yeah. I don't think that's true at all. That was a
Piece
decent
of
joke. That was a decent joke, but I think people don't realize how much you have to know. And they're like, why is, I posted that thing on my Instagram the other day because the Reddit, whatever you call it, post, is that what it's called? Reddit post? Yeah, post.
Thread?
Subreddit?
Yeah, subreddit. It was like medical school or some subreddit. And they posted, they're like, why is radiology 6 years and medicine is only 3 years? And they're like, and then someone posted the whole thing about why radiology is 6 years. And I was like, this person hit the nail on the head so hard.
Yeah.
And then radiology social media took over. No.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, it is.
And the
There's,
crowd went mild.
Yeah.
God, it's so obvious you had that saved.
Yeah. He's dying to use it.
I said it
And the
last
crowd went-
podcast.
And the crowd went mild. You'll get nothing from me.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
something else, but now I forgot. So we'll just move
Yeah,
on.
well.
So earlier in the episode, we were talking about Tommy, how he's just a giant piece of shit.
Yeah, usual topic of the episode.
Yeah.
And that got me thinking, apparently this is the world record for the largest turd.
What? Do I have to look at that?
I mean, that doesn't look real.
It's on
You think that's
Facebook?
real?
God, I wish I
No.
could.
It looks like a sausage.
I
It
mean,
looks like more than a sausage.
looks like one of those. I mean, what in the world? Looks like an elephant.
Yeah.
No,
are you
actually,
sure that-
actually, this is fake. This is from Pembrokeshire. This is like a parody website in
Oh,
London somewhere, I
God.
think.
I was like, why is
But
that on
anyway.
Facebook?
I know. I will say that is something that it would like disimpact the ER. Everyone would be like, "Did you see how big that shit was that we disimpacted?"
So this is fake, but I did want to ask you guys, in your brief time working as like, frontline workers, did you ever see like a deobstipated person produce something like this or close to it?
No, it's usually like liquid.
Yeah, I fortunately also got away with never having to disimpact anyone in my entire medical career. So
It seems like something you would do.
yeah,
That's
I will.
classic Tommy.
Like you were directly asked to do it, and then somehow you managed
No,
not to and play
I was
Call
never-
of Duty for the next 24 hours.
Yeah. Tommy just like somehow got
I
out
was
of it.
I was
They're
never.
like, you know what?
asked
I
to-
liked having you around, Tommy, so I'm not gonna force you to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
this.
This guy. He's a good guy. I won't make him do
Yeah,
anything.
he's a
like
good
this.
guy.
Yeah,
I don't know what he does here, but he's a good guy.
yeah. I will say
He's
I had
happy
to
go
like.
lucky.
We used to have to do like lower G in residency, lower GIs, like a fluoro study on people for constipation, and it would infuriate me because it would always be like no one could hold it in, and it would just leak poop all over the fluoro table because it would be like everywhere. And they'd be like, try and hold it, or like tape the tube in. And they'd be like, of course, no one can hold it.
Well, I mean, yeah, who can hold a giant bag of fluid rushing into your rectum?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's literally ridiculous. Like you try to clench your cheeks, and there's a waterfall flowing into your
Oh, yeah.
rectum, and like,
It's
You're-
more like a dam.
yeah, your body's
Yeah.
like literally
Like
just
you're
trying
trying to
reject
hold
it.
back the Hudson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
Like,
you just get a spasm, and it's like, boop, I got to get this out of here.
Did you ever do defecography?
Yeah, I did defecography.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, defecography is something we do in radiology. It's a fluoro study or a live
the dark
X-ray
web.
study.
Oh, see, we did MR defecography, so we didn't have to like.
Oh, we did a
Flu-
fluoro. We didn't have the MR. So we did
Yeah,
fluoro
fluoro's
in
old
training.
school.
And basically what it is you watch someone under X-ray machine defecate because you're looking for like pelvic floor laxity or
Yeah.
Is this really a thing?
Swear to
Yeah.
God. Yep.
yeah. So what you do is
You have to watch somebody take a dump
Yeah.
under fluoro.
yeah.
Yep.
And it's not awkward. It's not awkward for us, but for the patient, I
it's
felt so bad for
terrible.
any patient because it's just like,
Oh, I couldn't go.
yeah, I couldn't either.
Oh yeah. You literally
and,
just
like-
asking someone to dump in front of you. And it'd be
It's just like so, yeah, like some stranger, like two strangers just watch you like, are you going yet? Are you doing like it's just not, it's just the
Yeah.
whole thing is like, I'm like, what are we doing here?
wave your finger when you're shitting. And be like,
Yeah.
stuff- yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, it's just, the whole thing is just kind of messed up. So you would instill paste, you'd put a rectal tube in and put in barium paste that is like solid enough to feel like stool.
Yeah.
And it's a radio opaque. So you can watch them defecate under live x-ray. And then you see how it lacks their pelvic floors, if they have any prolapse or anything. It's actually, strange enough, very good at diagnosing
Yeah.
like a pelvic floor laxity or a
It is.
prolapse, like a rectal or vaginal prolapse. It's fantastic at it, and there's
Or
like
a
strict
rectus
guidelines
user
at
that-
it.
Yeah.
And it's
Michael-
like it's great for patients, but it's just so weird for them. You know, I mean,
Does it-
I can never do it. Honestly, I can never do it.
Michael, you
Okay.
mentioned one time how you like literally can't throw up because you're so averse to it. I am literally incapable of going number 2 unless the toilet and the room that I'm in is clean and like quiet and like acceptable.
Really?
I literally will not go. Like if I'm at a concert or something like that,
Oh, like a porta potty.
yeah, I'll hold it until I find the nearest McDonald's or something like that. Like I will never doing a porta potty or
Porta
something
potty. I
similar.
don't think I can do it in a porta potty too.
You can't take
First
the
of all, I'm
chance
not-
of the splash.
I don't want to be in a
Oh.
porta potty more than 4 seconds
Oh yeah.
ever. I
I'd
feel like
rather
I'm
pee
getting
outside than be in a porta potty.
yeah, I feel like I'm getting diseases just like being trapped in there.
Yeah.
Just breathing that air.
Oh,
Oh
I hate porta potty,
It's
and they're
terrible.
always soaking wet.
yeah.
I know. Why are they always soaking wet on the inside?
I'm pretty sure it's just because either they hose it off as they clean it, so it's just still wet from when they hose it off in the morning, or people are just pissing everywhere. There's no.
I
it's
think
gotta be one of
people,
those two.
people have no respect in terms of where
No.
their urine goes in like places that aren't their
No.
home.
No.
You know, I mean,
No.
any mail like airports. I mean, there's just urine everywhere.
Oh, airport.
I don't know what it
bathrooms
is. People feel like
horrible,
if they're
dude.
not at home, then they can just urinate wherever they want.
Dude, those international terminals. Oh my
God.
God.
Especially like the international terminals at like
Oh my.
like the old old LaGuardia or something, where there's just like
Oh
thousands of people going in and out of like 2 restrooms because they
Yeah.
had no restrooms. And we're back.
yeah.
And we're back. Airport bathrooms.
Right.
Literally can't use them unless they're perfect. And I use like the priority pass bathroom.
What's the
Oh.
best airport bathroom you've ever been in?
I mean, it's gotta be a lounge.
Probably-
Actually, I went into the lounge I was at the Delta Lounge
Lounges,
in
yeah.
Atlanta, and that place was a zoo. It was so packed, and they had like 2 stalls, and there was like a
Oh.
line, and I was like, "What are we doing here?" And it was like,
Yeah.
it was the bar, and then there was an open door to the men's bathroom. I'm like,
What?
and there was a line, and it was just constant flow of people going in and out. I was like, "This is
You're like, I've never
you guys
wanted to
gotta
drink
get some more
less.
bathroom." Yeah,
Yeah. Oh
no.
God.
There were people like sitting on like high tables right by the bath, in between the bathroom and the bar. I'm like, what is going on?
God.
Yeah, the one in
Ugh,
Finland
brutal.
on the way back from Croatia the last time was really nice, Jim. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, nice.
The Helsinki airport's the nicest airport I've ever been in.
Yeah.
It's not
probably.
even close.
It
I
was
haven't
like
been there, but I'm sure it
spotless.
is.
Yeah. It was so
Yeah,
clean.
me, Tommy, and our wives took the flight home from Croatia, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was a great that was actually a pretty decent flight experience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We only stayed
well,
there for like 30 minutes. We like rushed to the other plane.
Yeah, and I told the lady at the gate, I was like, "This is a really nice airport." And she was like, it's a very much honor to work here." I was like, "Okay, that's not the type of airport employee that I'm used to."
Yeah, I do remember that. They were so
honored to work
nice.
here.
I mean, in
Wow.
all fairness, they probably make more than I do in that Helsinki airport.
They probably make like 80 grand a year
Oh,
working
yeah.
the checkout line.
Full benefits.
sure.
They get 6 months of maternity leave.
Universal health
Actually,
care.
they probably get like 2 years of maternity leave.
Probably.
Isn't there like a country that they give you like 12 months of paternity leave or something like that? Or
Well, I
like-
mean, some of these companies
Yeah, I
give you
think
like
it's Sweden.
yeah, it's like 12 months of paid paternity leave. You just get a
Yeah.
year off.
What country could you live in besides the US?
Croatia.
Yeah, I could probably do
Do
Croatia.
you really think you could? You wouldn't go to
100%.
You wouldn't get bored?
No, I wouldn't get bored because I would just do like, kind of the same thing I'm doing. So it wouldn't
I
be
don't-
any different.
what
I
do
would
you
just be in
Play
like
golf.
I would do YouTube. I would do golfing, and I would live in a beautiful place.
Yeah.
With like, the thing about Croatia is there's no BS. You don't have to deal with like any like
No.
BS.
Everyone's
just
goal is
like
just
what?
to relax.
Traffic?
Yeah, that. I mean, just name it. Like everybody's goal is just to like live a nice, easy, healthy, relaxing life.
I don't know. I think the inefficiencies would drive you nuts when people are just like, oh, no, we didn't really get to it because we were just relaxing.
That
Like,
would, if I was trying to like redo my kitchen or something, it took like
Yeah.
14 years.
I was gonna say if you had like a leaky roof or something like that, and you had to use the freaking barter system to get some guy over to patch it.
Yeah,
you'd
you
be going
definitely
crazy.
would. That would make me a little angry
Yeah.
because that would be a
Like,
slow mo.
I don't accept money. I need a bag of fish. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah, I need a prosciutto.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't take money. Do you have prosciutto?
I was talking to my father-in-law yesterday actually, and he was like, because he's not going to be in Croatia when Tommy and I are there, and he's like, I had a prosciutto. It's aging. He's like, it's just not ready yet. I was going to let you guys have it. He's like, it needs another 6 months.
Oh, God. He's like,
all
can't
those
just-
those guys do is just smoke ham in their basement and drink white wine.
Yep,
Yeah.
pretty much.
I mean, I could live in like Canada, Italy,
Yeah, I don't think I could live in Canada.
Germany.
Italy, I could.
What part have you been to Canada, Tommy?
No, but I just assume it's probably very similar to like here.
Yeah, but they have
Been there.
weird, strict laws though. A lot of the times, like,
No
it's
guns?
a little. No, not even that.
Yeah.
Just I was reading something the other day where there's
Michael's like,
like
don't take my gun.
Don't take
yeah,
my
what gun?
Yeah.
Don't take my gun, Justin Trudeau.
Is he still the prime minister over there?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
I think
Um, But yeah, their COVID restrictions were like out of control. They were
Oh,
on
yeah.
lockdown
yeah.
for till like yesterday.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yesterday. Yeah, they were on ridiculous.
Them in Australia, they were like, no, I guess. And what was it? Is it
New
China
Zealand?
that's still like? I think it's China that I read the other day. Like anytime there's like one person with COVID, the whole city or the whole whatever city they're in just completely shuts down.
Really?
That
I didn't know that.
that sponsor that's pissed off at me is their company's based in Wuhan. I looked it
Oh,
up.
is it?
Yeah.
No shot. Really?
Yeah.
Wuhan's
Oh
a
my-
huge hub,
Huge.
like enormous hub
yeah.
for business.
Were you like, oh,
Yeah.
don't make them mad?
Which is
Yeah,
funny because
that
I mean, I
was-
didn't even know about it until COVID, but that
Oh, yeah.
place is like a huge Eastern haven for business.
I know China is so big that you could, any city you've never heard of in your entire life.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh yeah, there's like 10 million people that live there. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's like way bigger than New York City. Is
Yeah,
Wuhan bigger than
yeah.
New York City? I think it is.
No.
Jim, look that up.
I mean, Wuhan's not a city, it's like a province, right?
I guess
think
so.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
What? Yeah, I guess. Well, you can compare it to New York City.
New York.
New York,
stupid.
because New York City has like what, 8 million people or something?
Wuhan.
How funny
Wuhan.
if they do like an entire reclamation project about the image of Wuhan, and it's
Yeah,
like
it's a province. Okay, you're right, Jim.
Dun,
So-
dun,
so how many people are in the
dun,
province?
dun, dun, dun.
Oh my god! All right, what?
Somebody
how many
needs to
people
make
in-
that. Somebody needs to turn that Frank Sinatra song into Wuhan instead of New York.
Woo.
Wuhan.
I don't know how Tommy's laughing at that.
Ah,
'Cause
oh,
Tommy gets good
I-
jokes.
yeah.
I guess so.
'Cause I understand humor, Michael. You
Yeah,
humorous piece
Michael was
of shit.
thinking about his hair.
What? Are you going to look at the
Wuhan.
population, or what? Are you just going
I'm
to stare
looking
at
at
the
it.
screen?
Wuhan is the capital of Hubei province in the People's Republic of China.
Right. So where's the amount of people that live there?
Should I just start highlighting random things? Would that make you happy? Let's see. Well, I can tell you this looks like a very dense metropolitan region right
Oh,
around here.
God.
I mean, an entire pandemic came from
Here
that
we go.
densely
Now we're
populated
talking.
place?
Population 12.3 million.
Where do you see that?
On the
Oh, over
right.
here.
Yeah.
Now go to New
Dude,
York
there's
City.
12
population.
million people in Wuhan.
Jeez.
Yeah. How
That's
many?
the
how many
entire
is-
Chicago metropolitan, like the great, not even the city, like
It's
the
3,000
Yeah. Yeah.
3,000 square miles. So then what's New York City? Not 3,000 square miles, but nonetheless, we can compare it.
Let's see.
Not quite.
Or you can do the tri-state area. How long is that? It's not 3,000 either.
Get out of here, Wikipedia. I'm not paying you anything.
I know. Wikipedia's been asking for donations for 30 years. They need
New
to
York,
give up.
New York is a tenth of the size.
Yeah.
And how many people live in it?
Mm,
Blah blah
8
blah.
million.
yeah, 8 million.
So that's pretty crazy though. A tenth of the size, and
Yeah.
only 4 million less people.
What's
Yeah,
the
that's pretty
population
crazy.
density? Is New York is Manhattan the most population dense city in the world?
Most
I don't know. It might be
population
like
city.
Like Tokyo or something, or Seoul?
yeah,
Mumbai.
something. It might be-
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh yeah, definitely Mumbai.
Karachi. What is Karachi? I've never heard of Karachi.
Karachi is in Pakistan.
Is it?
Really?
Mhm.
Look at you, Michael.
I know. You know, why I know.
Kalokan?
You know why I know that, Tommy?
Let me guess. You had a friend in med school that was from there.
No, Karachi is a map on Call of Duty.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
God, that's hilarious.
Unbelievable.
On
yeah.
the mobile COD?
I didn't
So
know
it's
Karachi
200
was that big though, or that population
200
dense.
And 33 square miles is Mumbai.
Jeez.
And there's
23.
there's 23
million.
million people that live in Mumbai.
Oh my God, that's
Wow.
so many people.
That is
So there's 1 million people for every 10 square miles.
wow.
Oh man.
Oh my God,
Dude, that is so many people.
That's actually insane.
I honestly don't even know where this is. Let me see.
Yeah, I have
Oh,
no
okay.
idea.
Oh, it's in
Oh, it's-
India.
Like
I had
Southeast.
no idea this was in India.
You didn't know
You didn't know
Mumbai
Mumbai?
was in India?
Dude, I'm terrible. When geography gets past, I'll tell you right where I lose it. Right
Like east of Croatia.
here.
Yeah.
Well, Poland. There it is. When we get to Poland and go down, everything over here, I don't know, other than the big boys like China and like Mongolia,
Yeah.
like Korea. Like you get into the nitty gritty of like all this stretch down here is like Southeast
Yeah.
Asia. I
Yeah.
have
South-
no idea.
South
going
Asia's
on?
tough.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, the Middle East is tough too. And so it's like that central area of like where Romania is, like north of Italy and Greece and all that
Yeah,
stuff. That gets
That
rough
stuff
too.
it confuses me too.
The only reason I know
Crazy how
some,
South America just fits right into Africa.
yeah.
Like at some point in the existence of our planet, it all used to just like mold together like that.
I mean, even you can see like America and like Mexico and that little chunk can fit into like Africa right there. I'll just
Yeah,
go.
can
like
fit in.
all of
Bloop.
hair can just fit up into here in the Sahara.
Yeah. That's kind of nuts, actually.
That's wild.
I don't know.
And like,
Anyways.
even like this, like it's kind of like,
Moving on.
Jim's nerding out over geography.
Yeah.
you guys want to talk about Carmen San Diego?
Yeah. Where?
So bad.
You remember going over to our friend's house and they had nicer computers than ours, and you could play Carmen San Diego, and there would be like actual like animation happening. Like our computer couldn't run it.
Our computer can run anything.
yeah. I actually don't remember Carmen San Diego that well.
Tommy, you're a little too young to remember like the struggle bus that was our internet back in the day.
I remember like Walmart Connect and all that stuff that we used to
Yeah.
have.
So we didn't have, there was no like Verizon and like
Yeah.
whatever, AT&T. You literally bought a CD and it was either Prodigy, Netscape, or like Walmart, AOL.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And of course, our mother went with Walmart Connect, the legendary ISP Walmart.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
we
my
had-
friends
had
to this
Walmart
day make
internet.
fun of me for that.
Literally
Yeah.
Walmart internet. And you couldn't make phone calls while being on the internet.
Yeah, people don't know the struggle.
How much
every
was it? It
time
was like cheap as all get out too. How much was it?
Like probably $5 a month or something.
That was
like that.
$5.99 a month.
Yeah. Enough for mom to complain about, I can tell you that.
Yeah. It was
But,
more
uh,
than zero. It was more than $0. So therefore,
Dude, was there anything more annoying than when you're on Instant Messenger talking to your friends and mom yells at you to get off the internet so she can make a call?
Oh,
yeah, when I was like talking to my crush or something,
Yeah.
and she's like,
And-
we're talking about our favorite music.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's like, get off the internet. I got to make a call to like Debbie down the street to get some sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I have
are
to-
you kidding me?
Yeah.
I have to get corn syrup because I got to make pumpkin bread for tomorrow.
I'm like, are you kidding
And
me right
I'm like,
now?
are you
Ashley's
serious
gonna
right now?
freaking never talk to me again.
Yeah.
And then she'd make a call and it would last forever.
Forever.
Like mom literally, and I know she's watching this, literally could not end the conversation under 2 minutes.
No, impossible.
It might be, the over-under might be 15 minutes, honestly.
She was on the phone forever with people. She'd call like Sarah Anderson or like
just
Aunt
and all
Jody.
you would hear from upstairs in the computer bonus room was bah, bah, like, you know, just this.
Well, I tell
And
you
you're
what,
like,
Yeah.
I tell you what, Jimmy, he's got 1 year left. And that's for the first of my boys who are leaving the house. You know, and it's like, well, I thought this was just to get corn syrup.
Yeah. It's turned into an entire different
well, I
thing.
thought it was gonna be cold today, but it ended up not being cold.
Yeah, you know,
My bones are
That's a-
acting up.
supposed to rain tomorrow. Boy, we need it.
We need it.
You know what? I was listening to Two Bears, One
No,
Cave
I'm not
this
done.
week.
And so mom,
Oh, okay.
mom would hang up, and then getting back on the internet was always like harder after the phone call for some reason.
Always,
right, yeah.
always longer.
And you would have to restart your computer,
Yeah.
and then maybe the internet would work.
And my crush would be like, I mean, I can't just wait forever. I'm done. I'm going to bed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I live in East Cobb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why do you have such terrible internet?
Like,
Dude,
it's
what
like,
do you
don't
mean?
ask.
You have to stop talking for your mom to make a phone call.
Yeah. Why don't you get
What are you,
another line?
primitive?
Yeah. She's like, why don't you just tell your mom to shut up? You're like,
Why don't you
Yeah.
have a freaking T3 connection?
Oh,
Like,
God,
yeah,
me.
like
Andrew.
my parents put another line in the basement for me. I'm like, oh, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
Had the same
What were you
problem.
gonna say,
Don't worry.
Tommy?
I was listening to Two Bears One Cave. Your impression reminded me of it. Bert was talking about his wife, how like the kids are going to college, and she's like, we're just getting old. That's what's happening. This is just gonna be
Yeah.
the time that we die. It's like the exact
God.
same.
God,
That
when he
Southern
makes fun of her,
mentality.
it's the funniest thing ever.
Oh, it's so funny.
She's
man.
from Georgia too.
Yeah,
She's
like
from Southern Georgia.
yeah, she's from
Yeah.
deep South Georgia. It's a whole different
Deep
world.
South.
down there.
She's
Yeah.
from no man's land.
Yeah,
Deep South.
we do have a fancy football draft coming up though. So
I know we've got a fantasy football draft. Let's end this by talking about how stupid fantasy football is now. I hate it. And I'm going to regret every second of the season. Tommy, you go first.
Yeah, I mean,
I've
Yeah,
never
go for
been
it.
happy playing fantasy football ever.
Yeah,
In
no.
the 15 years, I've never once had a moment of joy playing fantasy, except for maybe
No.
one time I won. But outside of that, never.
I've kind of lost interest in fantasy football over the last few years. I think COVID kind of did it into me because then I got behind and stopped really watching or caring about the players, and then I got really busy. And honestly, I just find it a little childish. But I still play.
I'll take
Yeah.
that one step further. I'm actually over sports.
Yeah,
Like I'm not really
Ah.
a sports fan anymore.
yeah. I feel like
The
it's a
only
little
thing I like
childish.
to do is listen to my favorite sports podcasts when they're in season,
Yeah,
like Bill Simmons, and just
Ah.
listen to that in the car.
the best.
The best. And plus, that came out today. He started talking to the football guys again.
I know.
But like I find sports and like being a hardcore fan, and like these guys go with jerseys on to these football games, and they like get pissed and drunk, and they start fighting people. And these are like
Yeah.
grown men with children.
That's absolutely
Yeah.
unacceptable.
I can't even
Like you're not on the field.
put my brain
Yeah.
into that mindset.
Yeah.
Or attempt
Like,
to.
how could you care about a sports team so much that you fight someone at the venue
Yeah, over the
over
yeah,
something you
difference-
had no control over?
yeah,
Yeah.
over a bunch of 22-year-old guys that are playing football.
That'd be like
Yeah.
you and I at a stadium, and I want it to rain, and you don't want it to rain, and it doesn't rain, so I fight you.
It's
I
like
can't
kinda-
I can't control any of the
Yeah.
outcome, and then I'm just angry and like drunk.
Yeah,
It
All
makes
right,
no
I mean,
sense.
I mean, if sports gambling wasn't a thing, I don't think I'd watch
Yeah.
sports.
I
Really.
yeah.
like putting a little $5 bet on a sports because it makes it interesting. Otherwise, I'm not really interested in it. I watch
$5.
Yeah,
I
no.
watch soccer, or what else do I watch? Golf a little bit here and there, but like football, I used to know the names and like stats of every single player on every single team, and then I
Yeah.
missed like a year for COVID and then another year after that, and I don't recognize like half the players anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, like rookies are 21 years old, and I'm like, seriously, I'm watching a 21-year-old make decisions, and I've got money riding on it. No, thank you.
Yeah, I just like, yeah, it's odd to me. I don't
Like,
really-
yeah, I've got money on the Jets to cover, and by the way, the quarterback is 21 years old from BYU. It's like,
I still
Yeah,
love
like-
that. There's nothing better than putting like 5 games, maybe a parlay on a Sunday, watch football. Woo!
speaking of losing money, Tommy, it looks like you will maybe benefit from this President Biden
Oh yeah,
student loan forgiveness from today. We'll wrap it up with this. Tommy, congratulations. You're the recipient of $10,000 in loan forgiveness.
hey,
Wow.
What do you have to say?
I'm pretty excited about that. It doesn't make a single dent in my student loan burden, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not that big of an issue.
It's like throwing a chair off the Titanic.
Yeah, it's precisely that. I don't know if it covers med school loans though. I was under the impression that it may be just covering undergrad, which I have
Mm.
some. So
I
we'll
mean, there's
see.
gonna be there's probably
see.
some
So
addendum in
let's see.
there.
This
to-
is from the White House. There's 3 action plans. Bullet point 1, provide debt relief to address the financial harms of the pandemic. So if you got a Pell Grant, you get 20 grand in debt cancellation.
I did get a Pell
And-
Grant.
You did?
Yeah. 'Cause
And
we're
up to $10,000 in debt cancellation to non-Pell Grant recipients. Borrowers are eligible for this relief if their individual income is less than 125 grand a year.
That
That's
is me.
definitely you, Tommy.
Yeah.
So you should be good to go here.
If I get 20K,
Plus-
that's pretty big.
Plus, your student loans are still paused until the end of the year,
Yeah, that's the biggest part of this.
which is even better. Which makes me a little upset that I refinance my loans now.
Yeah.
Right.
I would
They
have had
sold
no
off-
payment.
Yeah. The government sold them off to like Aid Advantage or something like that. I assume it's
Of course
still
they did.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
So
assuming
undergraduate loans get their monthly payments cut in half. They're capping the income-based repayment at 5% of a borrower's discretionary income, which
Wow.
is half the rate the borrowers must now pay. So the average annual student loan payment will be lowered by more than $1,000 for both current and future borrowers.
Pretty
good.
helpful.
And they're fixing the public loan service forgiveness program by proposing a rule that borrowers who have worked at a nonprofit, military, or federal, state, tribal, or local government receive appropriate credit towards their loan forgiveness. There you go.
Oh,
and protect future students and taxpayers by reducing the cost of college and holding schools accountable when they hike up prices.
That's
the
most
real issue here.
Yeah, that's the
look at
most
this
important part of
graph.
it.
Look at the public 4-year university cost. Look at that. Just
I mean,
up and up and up. And up.
25K.
Look at the Pell Grant. It's the exact same
I know.
Unbelievable.
over that same time period.
Yeah. This is
That's-
like
Wow. Thanks for keeping up.
Right.
this is like bonds at the bottom and S&P 500 at the top.
yeah.
I mean, like, what a joke.
It
Dude,
really is.
these
just the cost.
universities.
Oh, they're,
I mean, these people are out of their minds.
oh, they're, it's
That's
disgusting.
criminal. I've said it a million times. It's complete criminal.
Yeah.
I mean, when an education department like a university or college is making $500+ million per year off the backs of this tuition and everything, it's a
Yeah.
little insane.
It
Like, we're trying to
is.
educate the next generation and also make $1 billion in revenue per year.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's so ridiculous.
All right, guys. So we're gonna wrap it up with that. We've got a fantasy draft to do. I'm gonna need about 5 minutes to recover my password that I do every year. Guys, feel.
I couldn't even log in
hold on
last
one
time.
second. I
Yeah.
have to edit this, Michael. My freaking Siri just cut on for some reason.
You want to know what the order of the draft is? Where
Hmm.
you guys are drafting? I have it up right
I'm
now.
probably last. I'm last every year.
No,
God.
Michael has the first pick in the draft.
Really?
Actually, wait a second. Are you at Dr. Cellini or is that someone else?
I think that's me.
Yeah, if that's you, then you have the first pick. Jim
First
is
time ever.
pick number 2. And I am
Wow.
pick number 4. Somehow this worked out with the Cellini families.
Who
wow.
should I pick?
So we just found out our draft order. Michael's 1 and I'm 2.
Yeah, and I'm 4.
Beautiful. I'm getting either Jonathan Taylor or Christian McCaffrey. Guys, fantasy football is back.
I'm back in on fantasy.
I'm back.
Michael, just take Jonathan Taylor, Michael.
Who's that?
He's the
Yeah,
number
Michael,
one.
take Jonathan Taylor. I've got to take Christian McCaffrey.
Who's Jonathan Taylor? Tell me who it is first.
He's the Indianapolis Colts running back.
Is he good?
I mean, he was like the number 1 player in fantasy.
All right, Michael. All right, guys. We're gonna do our fantasy draft. Guys, please subscribe to this podcast. Like this podcast. Like and subscribe to at Dr. Cellini and at DVM Cellini's YouTube channels. We'll see you next week. They'll be in Croatia. Hopefully, we can get an episode done. Should still be
Probably
good.
not.
Fingers
we'll see.
crossed.
We'll
All
try.
right. We'll see you
Peace
on
out.
the next one. Bye.